Oh, man, is it 4 days in a row? Monday,
Have we made
Tuesday,
it 4
Wednesday,
days?
Thursday. 4 days in a row.
Holy
you guys
moly,
remember this. We're going to try to. We were talking about it this morning, and we can't promise because we are very busy. Like JP comes in, does his radio station thing, and then he's usually off to another job. We all have things to do. I do a morning thing, and then I go do sales and station operations. So, I mean, a lot of times we can be really busy, and podcasting every day is a challenge. But going forward, we will definitely try to squeeze out a few a week because there's always something we could talk about.
Yeah, I mean, some weeks more than others, but a lot going on right now. That's for sure. We got cash shakeups. We got who's leaving, who's staying, who's dying, who's loving.
Which is a great segue. Great segue there too. Okay, so before let me preface this. I text JP yesterday morning, not long after he left, and said, "Hey, we should podcast."
And it was a great picture. I mean, you got some really good definition going. Yeah.
Wait, what are we talking about?
What?
I told you never to mention that on air.
Oh.
We discussed this.
My bad.
So
My bad.
I text JP, and I mean, this was not long after he left, and I said, hey, we should podcast tomorrow, and we should talk about our idea of how Maggie may be leaving.
Oh, right.
We've touched on it briefly, but we haven't.
We've touched it a little bit, but yeah, let's really grab that thing this morning.
Your ability to just have casual conversation and make it sound dirty is unparalleled. It's a true talent.
Yeah, well, that's why at my other job, which is a little bit more corporate, I will. There's some HR people coming in. It's a whole story, but I didn't say that stuff. And if I did, it was taken out of context. And it's all about context. You know that.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, you jump rope with that line, let me tell you. But so we're talking about how Maggie may be leaving. And before we do this, let me say I did see, because we definitely, I mean, YouTube's a big place, so we definitely don't want to try to copy anybody. But I will say there's another channel that talks about The Walking Dead. I've loved it for a long time. Yeah. It's called Movie Idol. Oh. I'm not even sure of that guy's name, but the guy that runs the channel, he is awesome. He's spot on. He gives great videos, great theories. The dude is on his stuff. He is, honestly, leaps and bounds better than we are at this. I mean, the guy knows his stuff. And I saw, after I had texted this to JP, I was reading some of your comments and it was showing related videos. I saw where he said something about Maggie leaving, and it had a picture of Maggie and Georgie, which I don't think that we're super intuitive for thinking what we think is going to happen. But I'm like, wow, everybody must think this. So I have not watched that video, I promise. But so if our theory sounds a lot like his, I promise you, we did not, we didn't go to his video and promise. Being in radio, I know the severity of copying someone else's work. I mean, it can end your career. So I saw that, and our theory, my theory, does involve Georgie. So, which I think if you go back and you watch our review of this past week's, I think I talked about Maggie and Georgie a bit. So we'll see. But anyways, I just had to get that off my chest before somebody was like, didn't Movie Idol talk about this? Yes, he did, but we haven't talked about it.
There's a lot of people talking about a lot of things,
That's true. And telling how many videos are out there on how Rick will leave. Mm-hmm. But so let's talk about Maggie. She's going to be leaving, and from what I have read, it's going to be in episode 6 is when she's going to leave.
And where is she going to, like ABC, doing some family sitcom or something?
No, she's got it's like a detective.
Oh, really?
Drama.
I thought she was doing
like
I was going to say, if she's doing that, she might as well they could have recast her as Roseanne.
I don't know that would work.
Maybe like done a Flashpoint kind of thing, and bam,
who went back in time?
Roseanne's young and hot.
Damn it, Barry. Who went back in time and messed up the timeline, though? Are we going to cross Roseanne and Flash? Is that going to be one universe now? Barry went back in time to do something as he always does, even though he always says he doesn't. He shouldn't. And Roseanne is now Maggie.
One thing I can tell you, I think John Goodman would be fine with the change.
I think any man would be fine with the change. Maggie is gorgeous.
Yeah, you better believe it.
But so what I'm thinking, because she's leaving around episode 6 from what I've read, but she made the comment a while back, I'm sure everyone's heard it, where she said, I would definitely be open to coming back to the show,
right.
Whatever. So I don't think they're going to kill Maggie. I think that she's just going to go away, and here's how I think it's going to happen.
Okay.
But first, spoilers, and maybe slight comic spoilers. Actually, there's going to be one big comic spoiler, but I mean, everybody's talking about it. So we'll warn you when that comes up. But in the meantime, show and some slight comic spoilers as we proceed. So I think what's going to happen is Rick's going to die, which is going to suck. And I've seen a lot of people trying to say that big comic spoiler, tune away if you don't want this. I've been hearing that Rick's head is going to end up on a spike.
Don't tell me that.
Instead of some other characters.
Is his jaw going to be moving?
Oh, I mean,
is it going to be a zombie head? Zombie head Rick?
Depends on how far they stick the spike. You know what I mean? If it's sticking up to his brain, he won't be moving at all.
Oh, jeez.
But I've heard that. But either way, so
I might stop watching, dog. I can't put myself through that.
You won't stop. I know. I told my girlfriend, as long as we've been dating, she's never seen me cry, and she's like, I know it's weird, but I just want to see it happen once. And I told her, I said, when the episode that Rick dies, I'm going to watch it downstairs in the man cave, and you're going to watch it up here because
God.
I can't promise I won't get through it without getting a little emotional. Rick's my boy, man.
Yeah.
But so I think what's going to happen is Rick's going to die. Of course, that's going to have a bad effect on Maggie, regardless of the tension between her, Michonne, and Rick. That might be the thing to kind of break it, you know what I mean, and make her realize that, she's lost someone very important to her.
Shared tragedy, yeah.
Maggie and her family have done a lot for Rick, but Rick's also done a lot for Maggie. He's always had her and the group's best interest in mind, and he's a good friend to her. They've had their differences. They disagree on Negan, but I think she knows he didn't do that to hurt her. She just disagrees with his methods. So I think that's going to have a profound effect on her. I think Georgie is going to come back. Georgie and her two girls, they're going to roll up because she did tell Maggie at the end of last season that she would be back because she knew that the Hilltop would go on to do great things, and she, expected those crates to be full when she got back of records and all of that good stuff. So I think Georgie's going to come back. We're going to see Georgie, and I think this will be after Rick's death, and Maggie's just going to kind of want to get away from there. It's just, and I think what Georgie's going to do is she's going to be very impressed with what Maggie's done with the Hilltop, and she's going to offer Maggie to come back with her, be it maybe to the Commonwealth.
Okay.
Some people saying Georgie's from the Commonwealth. She's going to go with Georgie. She's going to go off with Georgie, kind of like an internship. Georgie's going to train her even further on how to lead a community, and that's just one of those things they can leave open-ended. Maggie may never come back before the show ends. Maybe she will if they renegotiate a contract. But I think that Georgie is what's going to be, and the details might be a little different, but I think that Georgie is what's going to get Maggie out of there. Alive, but get her out of there.
That's a sound theory.
And she might say, especially with like the Rick thing, maybe things are starting to get more dangerous. And Georgie will say, look, things are getting dangerous. You have a young son. Come with me. We can keep you safe. And I can give you, teach you even more so that you can help to grow this community when you return. Mm-hmm. And I think that's how it's going to go. What do you think? Give me your theory. Give me your thoughts.
Well, this is what I think is going to happen. I think that Maggie's going to continue to kind of like look at herself, after hanging Gregory. She's going to sort of just get a little bit more, not power hungry, but a little power drunk, and she's going to get more ruthless, especially as, the more looming threats are approaching. And I think she's eventually just going to look at herself in the mirror and be like, this is not the person I want to be. I got to step down. I don't want to have to hang people and decide who lives and who dies. It's too much. And I do think the Georgie exit is how it's going to go down, but
just slightly different details. That's you could be exactly, that makes perfect sense. Like she'll start realizing that the things she's done are not like how she wanted to do things.
Yeah, and like you said, or a commenter, somebody said sort of like, well, no, Daryl said it, to Rick about, how is this any different than what Negan was doing,
Right.
Maggie's going to start seeing some parallels, I mean.
Maybe she'll do something and think about Negan in the cell.
Yeah. Like she has to, make an example. She basically did with that when they had him pinned up last season. She had to freaking shoot that dude in the head, right?
Yeah. That was a great scene. Great acting by Lauren Cohen. I mean, the way she, did that kind of, the camera followed her as her face just changed from looking hard to you could really see the regret and the, well, I don't necessarily say regret, but the darkness of what she had done and realizing that what she did was really dark and just, I'm not going to say a bad thing, but definitely not her normal course of action. But yeah, you could be exactly right, and I'd be perfectly fine with that. Either way, we can both agree we think Georgie is Maggie's way out.
Yeah, I think it's going to be more of a rehabilitation sort of exit. She wants to get back to who she was. The girl her father raised and all this stuff. But
maybe something will pop up with Herschel. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like maybe someone will bring up, what would Herschel do, or I don't know, something, and that could make her think that she needs. And she, Georgie is very peaceful. Mm-hmm. Her and Minge, and I can't remember the name of the other lady, but maybe she'll say, she'll think, wow, this is someone that I need to go with.
Yeah, because still one of my favorite scenes. It's from season 2. Herschel wants to kick everyone off the farm, and then Maggie comes to him and quotes that Bible verse. And
oh yeah,
he has a change of heart. And that's the Maggie that's deep inside of her.
Yeah,
that's kind of been buried under all the trauma.
It's the Maggie that Glenn loved, because you got to think too, and that might be maybe not Herschel, maybe someone or somehow Glenn will come up, because Glenn was not. When Glenn had to kill that guy in the sanctuary, which he had, kudos for making it 6 seasons and not killing another living person. He did not like it. It was not something that he can adjust to the way that Rick had. Glenn wouldn't. I don't think Glenn would be down for executing anybody. I mean, even though Gregory tried to kill Maggie, I mean, Nicholas tried to kill Glenn, and Glenn tried to put him through rehab. I do think that Maggie's life being at risk would infuriate Glenn more, but I think that at the end of the day, with a cool head, Glenn would have not executed Gregory. So maybe, she'll kind of look at what Glenn would want and realize that she's not going that route. And so she'll go with Georgie, because Georgie does seem to be a lot more in line of what Glenn would probably imagine, like peace and harmony and trade and no need for violence if you don't have to and things like that. But don't get me wrong. I'm sure part of Glenn would want to rip Gregory's head off for attacking Maggie. That's his boo thing. But I'm just saying, I could see Glenn with a cool head saying there's another way.
Right. Just lock him up.
There was something you said back that was there was another theory that I had seen. And see, that's what's so great about this season, man, already. I mean, you got your haters, and that's fine. It's not for everybody. But there are so many different theories of. I don't feel like we've talked about this many theories at one time in the last few seasons. Yeah,
it's been a while. Probably since Glenn was eaten by that dumpster or whatever happened. I can't remember. But.
That's my favorite thing that's ever been said on this podcast, since Glenn was eaten by that dumpster.
Yeah, it was something like that.
That is magical. But yeah, I'm trying to think. I don't want to sign off until I can. It was something else that you had said. Yeah, that you said that. That made me think of another fan theory, and I just, for the life of me, cannot remember. That's why it's like I try not to interrupt, but like when I have something I need to say, I seriously need to get a piece of paper. That's what I need to do. Because I'll forget it. I have terrible short-term memory. So like what I need to start doing is having a pad and writing down as you're talking. Because I try my best not to, I want you to have your, say your piece too. You've got just as more valuable input than I do. So I want you to say what you say, but sometimes, so I'm going to do that. I'm going to start writing stuff down when I think of it, because it was something you said.
I'd love to see some like fan art or something where Maggie's wearing like a sexy leather jacket and a red sash, and she's got like a ball bat over her shoulder.
Just like that might have been done.
Neeg Maggie.
Just search the internet, man. There's some talented people out there.
Yeah, man.
When you said the sexy leather jacket, I don't know why I thought you were going for Claire Redfield from Resident Evil 2. Because I could see Maggie.
Oh, I don't know.
Doing a Claire Redfield.
I played a little bit of Nemesis, but I'm not a big gamer.
That's my second favorite one. Yeah. So and back to the Walking Dead Telltale games again. Just want to mention that I'm going to keep mentioning that, so that if we don't end up doing it, you guys will harass us and make JP feel bad. So he will actually come down and do it, because all it takes is to get JP to come down, because JP doesn't have a PlayStation, so. We can't do it at JP's house, so he's got to come down to my house, which is like a 30, 40-minute drive. I get it, but we got to do the Telltale games, man.
Yeah, I got the Super Nintendo hooked up. I don't know what would be the Walking Dead equivalent on the SNES. I'm sure there was some kind of zombie game back then. But
maybe. I just don't think that you could download Telltale's Walking Dead into that.
No, probably that. Now, that would be difficult.
Sorry, continue.
No, it'd be difficult. I'm disagreeing. It'd be a hard thing to do.
But that's basically the gist of it. It was another something I had to throw out there, but I forgot it. But we both think that Georgie is going to be Maggie's exit. Here's what I also saw in the comment section of yesterday's video. Someone said something about Jesus getting into an epic fight with the Whisperers. And yes, let that happen, man. Jesus, if you read the comics, Jesus is such a badass, and he's such a like upfront person. I mean, it's a lot of parts focused on Jesus. Jesus is a very like front and center character, one of the most important in the series, especially during the Whisperer arc. And so we've not really seen as much, and he had a big part to play during All Out War, including a part, slight spoiler alert, where he kicks Negan's ass in the comics.
That's right.
One of my favorite comic moments from The Walking Dead of all time. And of course, they never put that in the show. I really wish they would have. He took Negan's bat while Negan was holding it and smacked Negan in the face with it, which was freaking magical. Oh. But we did get to see Morgan go a little, Jesus and Morgan get a little kung fu-y in their fight, which was awesome. I would love to see some Jesus action. And we seem to have more dialogue from him this season already than we did last season. So hopefully that means that Jesus will have a more up front and center role, because Jesus is an awesome character.
Yeah,
in the comics, he's my favorite character in the comics.
It makes you wonder if he'll fill Maggie's role when she departs.
Slight spoiler. This is just a theory, though, but it does involve.
Is this what you brought up earlier this morning?
Yeah, it does involve a slight or big comic spoiler. So you've been warned. Give it like 2 minutes. Come back if you don't want it. So it ends up with heads on spikes. We've said that. Some very important people, and I won't say who those people in the comics are. I'm sure we have in other videos, but for the sake of trying not to spoil it for you, I won't say it now. But some people are saying that someone else's head is going to be replaced with Jesus's. You hear me mostly talk good about this show because JP and I still love the show. Lots of people are hating on it. We still very much enjoy it.
There's been seasons where, it was definitely due for some criticism. Yeah. But I think this season's been on point, man.
And you'll have that with any show, man. There's very few shows out there have perfect runs.
Especially when there's a lot of different, oversight. Breaking Bad, I think Vince Gilligan was pretty much free to guide his ship, but with The Walking Dead, you got a lot of cooks in the kitchen.
And sadly, I don't know for sure, but that's something too. If Frank Darabont was still on the show, it'd be really cool to see how he would have, because he was pretty much in complete control. This was his vision. I think he's the one that really pushed to have this become a show, because he found the graphic novel and loved it so much. He was like, well, this would be a great on-screen production. And he was very, very. But see, that's the thing, man. Some people don't like that. They don't like to have one person in charge. But it's like, look, season 1 was great. Yeah. So But so we'll see. But yeah, how do you think, Maggie? We love your comments. We spend so much time reading through your comments because, as I've said, man, you guys put it. You have some great theories, some great observation, far greater than we do. So in the comments section, let us know how you think Maggie's going to go. We definitely don't think our Georgie idea is unique, or that we're the only or the first ones to think of it. But that is how we think that she will exit the show, is through Georgie. So let us know what you think, where we got it right, where we got it wrong. Is she going to die? If she's going to die, how is she going to die? There's so many questions, and I need you guys to answer them. So, but yeah.
We'll see what happens. I want to see a good, helicopter goodbye. That's why
I want to know what the deal with the helicopter is. That's what I want to see.
Yeah.
I want to see some clarification on why there's a helicopter that seems to be following Jadis around. She just got done getting a little freaky deaky with Gabriel, and the helicopter's flying off. Where they just hover in there with binoculars, oh yeah, Jadis.
Yeah.
Or Ann, as they know her as. Oh yeah, Ann.
Woo.
Okay, he's done. So are we.
Yeah.
That's nasty.
Oh.
But yeah, leave a comment. I can't promise that we'll podcast tomorrow because JP has a morning breakfast show that he has to go do.
Yep,
so
JP Slim's Breakfast Bonanza Live.
That's exactly how he does it on the air too. So it's phenomenal. Great. So funny how different, even here we are from our FM counterparts. Mm-hmm. I'm more serious and just talk about the show, whereas on the air I get a little bit wackier. Not quite as wacky as you do, but just it's strange to sit back and watch. But
let me tell you something, honey. Moses might have led his people to the land of milk and honey, but JP Slim's going to lead you to the land of milk and gravy, which, by the way, if you happen to be up 58 West... Well,
I was going to say, don't give away our exact location, man. I mean, we've said we're, in Virginia. Don't give up the exact location. I don't want people around here finding these podcasts.
Some person who hates my my opinion on Negan or something will come to the diner.
Well, it's not even that. I just don't want people around here hearing it because you cut a little bit more loose here than your FM counterpart.
God.
So
you should hear me at my other job, God in heaven. And that's not even a public thing. Well, it is a public thing, but anyway.
Quite a public thing. But yeah,
what are we talking about?
We're wrapping up. That does it for how we think Maggie's going to exit the show. Again, what do you think? Please, I know you will, but I have to say it. Leave it in the comment section below, and we will hopefully have our videos looking better by next week.
Yeah, new software.
I got a busy few days. I've got a couple of on location broadcasts today. I also have wedding rehearsal tomorrow, not for me, for someone else. And then a wedding on Saturday, so it's busy. But I will get that software installed soon, and our video quality will hopefully get better.
Let's hope so.
But I hate to leave you but I guess we got to.
Yeah, I can't think of anything else to say about the old
I'm really
Maggie
bummed
situation.
out. I'm so bummed out that I couldn't remember what. Because when you said it, I started to chime in, and I was like, I'm going to let him say what he's got to say. And then by the time you were finished, I forgot. But I'm sure I'll remember it. But hopefully, maybe we'll try to get something out there tomorrow. But don't count on it. It's a busy day. But at the very least, we will see you on Monday. Tomorrow's JP's birthday. So y'all wish him a happy birthday in the comments section. JP's going off for a birthday bonanza weekend.
That's right. I will be.
Will you be back in time to get one up on Monday?
That's the question. That's the question. I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to come back, period. We'll see. We'll see what happens. We're going to leave you in suspense. Might be a one-man show next week.
As your manager, I have to highly recommend that you do indeed come back.
We'll see. I may be starting a new life in the hills of Savannah. I don't. Are there hills in Savannah? I don't know.
If you're going to do that, can you just give me like a 2 weeks notice? If you're ever going to run off and hide away from society, please just be kind and give me a 2 weeks notice.
Brother, that depends on the charges, Depends on what kind of charges I'm running away from. We'll see.
And that wraps up the podcast.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, and we will see you on Monday or Tuesday. It all depends on JP.
It all depends. Maybe I could phone in. We'll see.
I'm Justin, and we've said his name a million times here in the last few minutes. But you're...
Your guy, I was thinking of a house. Yeah, I'm JP.
And we're the Podcasting Dad. We'll catch you next week.
Let's go.